Today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I interlock my hair, how interlocking has been for me, why I chose to interlock, and why I think you should consider interlocking if it's something that you're looking into or if you are considering getting locks. So before I begin, I do want to start by saying that everything that I share on this channel is based on my experience. Weigh out the things that I'm saying. Some might work well for you, some might not work well for you, but want to start with that disclaimer just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I will display the definition. How I would describe interlocking is you're using a tool, whether it's a crochet needle or there's a little lock tool that you can use to loop the hair through itself. If you think about crochet braids, like when you crochet your hair with extensions, that's basically what you're doing, except you're looping your hair through itself. So right now I have a fresh, I need to stop calling them retwists. I have a fresh retie, or I have freshly interlocked my hair, and this is what it looks like. I'm just gonna get up close so you can take a look at. I'll begin with why I chose to interlock my hair. I started my lock journey in August of 2019, which makes me now a little bit over 2 years because we're in September right now. Let's backtrack actually. I originally wanted locks in around 2015 or 2016. I went to the salon and I had comb coils installed in my hair. I have 4C hair. My hair is very thick, but I have fine strands. I've talked to you about my hair texture first because I think it's going to help you determine whether you want to interlock your hair or not based off of what you see, based off of what you hear in this video moving forward. So I got comb coils installed in my hair, which were really nice. They looked really good. However, the maintenance was just not for me. I had to come back to the shop every 6 weeks. Product was used in my hair, which at that point I didn't mind. But as I continued on in my natural hair journey, I found that my hair just doesn't work well with a lot of different products. I end up with buildup. I end up with scalp irritation, which is something that I was trying to stay away from. So I had those comb coils in for about, I would say 2 months until I decided just to unravel them because the maintenance was just too much and they were unraveling on their own. Every time I went back to get my hair retwisted, the loctician was restarting my lock journey in the back of my hair. So my hair is 4C, but the back of it is like a looser, it's still 4C, or maybe, I don't know, it's just a looser texture. So it was taking much longer to lock, and it was frustrating because the front of my hair was doing a better job of staying where it needed to stay, but the back of my hair, we basically had to restart it. And I just wasn't, I was looking for a style that didn't require so much maintenance, so much thought. I ended the lock journey there and I decided, you know what, this is not for me. And at that point I thought maybe I'm just gonna continue on with wearing braids in my hair. Marley braids were my go-to hairstyle. Fast forward to 2019, I went in, had some test sister locks installed by a consultant, a sister lock consultant. I think that's what they're called. So she installed about like 4 of them across the side. Then she educated me on what the sister lock journey would look like, approximately how long it would take to install them, and basically what maintenance would look like for me. When she put the little 4 pieces in on the side, I kept those in for a while, and she did that just to give me a chance to test it out, to get a feel for them, to see if I like them, to see how my hair handles them. So it was about like 1 month later and they slipped out. All of the 4 little interlocks or sister locks slipped out. And I think part of this is because I just wasn't handling my hair the way I needed to, according to how you would handle your hair if you had sister locks. The rest of my hair was loosely natural, and then I had the 4 little sister locks on the side. So I decided to just, they brushed out by themselves actually. I really didn't have to do much, but I liked the way they looked. I liked the look of it, but sister locks were a little bit too small for me. I loved that no product was needed, even though the installation took some time. I liked the look, so I played around with the idea of potentially getting sister locks, but I thought, you know what, the install is gonna take like up to 2 days, maybe even more. I didn't have time to sit for that long. And then ongoing retightenings were probably gonna take some time. I wanted a hairstyle that I could do myself as well. When I was thinking about getting locks, I was looking at the time that I would not have to spend on my hair anymore and the products that I wouldn't have to use on my hair anymore, which I'm gonna talk about these things in depth when I start start talking about interlocks. When I got the sister locks removed, I was looking around YouTube. I actually watched a lot of videos about people with sister locks, and I love the way sister locks look. If I had more time in my life, I think I would probably have sister locks. I started seeing micro locks out there, which I thought were really interesting. So they were an in-between traditional locks and sister locks, and I saw people interlocking their hair. That's when I grew more interested in interlock. So when I started my lock journey, I chose to have two strand twists this time instead of comb coils that I originally had installed. And this time, instead of going to a loctician, my mom installed the two strand twist, which was really simple. It took her like less than an hour to put the twists in, and I was good to go. So I just left them in. And what I decided at that point is I was going to interlock my roots moving forward. I did try to do a traditional retwist with my hair when it was grown out with the two strand twists, but it unraveled. Like a week later, it unraveled, and I just couldn't do that. At that time, I was working out. My lifestyle just did not provide the time for me to spend that time just constantly looking at my hair, constantly trying to fix it. You know, considering where I live, it gets really cold. We get a lot of snow. Thinking about constantly having water in my hair and having to worry about if my roots are going to get puffy or if it's going to look like my hair is not retwisted or not. I just didn't have time for that. So after I tried that first retwist and it didn't work, I turned to interlocking. Part of the reason why I enjoy interlocks is because I don't have to use any product. As I mentioned before, my scalp is extremely sensitive. My hair just takes buildup very easily, and it's hard to get the buildup out. And this was a method where I could retwist without anything, just spray water. If I wanted to use oil, I could use, and I love that about it. Another reason why I loved interlocks is they don't unravel. For me, that's a really big thing. The maintenance, I don't want to have to continuously be doing something to my hair. With interlocks, I can go up until 3 months without interlocking my hair. And if I wanted to do an interlock sooner, I definitely could. The reason why I'm saying up to 3 months is because my hair tends to grow at different paces at different times. So it grew slower when I first started my lock journey, but now where I am, it seems like it's growing faster, but I'm sure that will go up and down. So 3 months when I first started my lock journey, the new growth would probably be like half an inch versus now where I'll end up with an inch or an inch and a half of new growth. I play around with how long I can go between retwists. And then another reason is I love the appearance of interlocks. Now I love thick locks, but I also like how these are, if you can see the size, they're more condensed. So when I first started interlocking, actually the roots were much condensed than the two strand twist that I had at the end. So that's something to consider if you want to interlock your hair, what you want your locks to look like. If you want a thicker appearance, then interlocks might not be the goal for you. Doesn't mean that it's impossible, because I have seen people who interlock their hair with thicker locks. They just have larger parts, I think is what they do. But everyone's hair is different. So I love that I don't have to worry about the weather. I can go out, I can wash my hair as many times as I need to, which was something that was extremely important to me, because with my scalp just not being at its best at the time when I first started my lock journey, I needed to be able to access it when I needed to access it and make sure that it's well taken care of. On this channel, I talk a lot about the importance of making sure that your scalp is clean, your scalp is well taken care of in order to ensure that the rest of your hair is healthy. So I always say a healthy scalp is healthy hair. I didn't want buildup or me having to sit and wait for a while before I could do anything with my hair or wash it with fear of it unraveling. Now, there are some things that people don't like about interlocking. One, you can risk damaging your locks. I interlock my hair by myself, and I have gotten some holes in my locks. And what that basically means is you loop the hair the same direction twice, and it creates literally a hole in your lock. I don't see a big deal with it. I know some people are very particular about their hair. Some people are a little bit more careful than I would say I am. I like my hair to look nice, but I also embrace the learning experience that I've had throughout this journey, because I get to learn my hair. I get to learn what not to do. And for me, I learn best by making mistakes. And I hope that we all learn from our mistakes as well. If I were to show you a close-up of what my locks look like, They're actually a very smooth texture across. Like they're not, if you can see, you don't get like a lumpy feel. The only time I've ever had that is when I've done something strange with like trying to loop the hair through one more pass when there wasn't enough room. So I had this like bulky knot towards the bottom because I couldn't get it back out the way I originally came in. Hopefully that makes sense. But people are afraid of damaging their locks, and I definitely get that. If you're not comfortable with working with your hair, it's something that I would say you'd want to think twice about. If you have access to a loctician, or if you'd prefer that a loctician maintains your hair, then that's a problem that you wouldn't have to deal with. Another thing that people don't like about interlocking is the time that it takes. Yes, it takes much longer than retwisting. A retwist for me would take anywhere between like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Interlocking, right now I've got it down to about 5 to 6 hours, which is much less time than when I first started. If you're considering interlocking your hair, your time will decrease over time as you get more comfortable with working with your hair. And also the number of rotations that you do around, like there's a 2-point rotation, a 3-point rotation, and a 4-point rotation. What these basically mean is the direction that you're going to take that needle or hook through. I do have a video of me interlocking my hair that you can definitely check out if you want to see what that looks like. There are a lot of factors that will contribute into how much time you're going to take. I don't use a mirror for the back of my hair. I kind of just go with the flow with what I'm feeling. Then once I get closer to the front of my hair, then I'm more particular and I'm looking in the mirror at my part. I'm not a person who cares too much about my parts and what they look like, but if that's something that you're into, that's something you want to consider for the back of your hair. If you're interlocking, it's a little bit more challenging to do than if you were just retwisting your hair. Sitting for 5 hours isn't a big deal for me, but for somebody else, that might be a deal breaker on whether they want to retwist their hair or interlock their hair. I will repeat disclaimer, it is possible to damage your hair while you're interlocking. If you don't mind making mistakes along the process, then I think this is a good fit for you. But if you're worried about the appearance, and of course we don't want to walk around with damaged hair, then it's something you might want to think twice about. Otherwise, that's really all I have to share about interlocking. So far, I've loved it. My hair is very light. I don't feel like it's weighed down by product, like I have stuff in it. I decide when I want to put something in it, which is very rarely. Right now, I just spray with aloe vera and rose water mixture. And then from time to time, I will include an oil. I used oils more towards the beginning of my lock journey than I do now. And I'm finding that my hair is doing fine without the oils. I have nothing against them. I'm just finding that it's an extra step that I don't have to take anymore. I hope this was helpful for somebody. And the last thing that I'll close with is that if you decide that something works well for you, despite what the internet says, not saying that you should reject any professional advice, but if you think something is going to work for you, try it out and then make that judgment based off of your experience. It's hard to tell based off of the experience of somebody else because there are many factors that could contribute to whether someone else succeeded or did not succeed. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, subscribe for more content like this where I'm going to be talking more about my lock journey. I really enjoy talking about the things that I've learned. I hope this video was helpful to someone who is considering interlocking their hair. A lot of this information is probably information that you've heard before. Some of it might have been new information, but I hope that it was helpful and beneficial to someone. I will see you on my next video.